And is Ken. A lot of people know you obviously as Leslie Chow, but we got this new role. Before we get into that, it's your birthday.
Oh, yeah.
Happy birthday.
You joined the show on your birthday.
No, it's treating myself. My birthday wish is to be on First Take. So
right? Who's better than you? You get to be with these two.
No, thank you. I really appreciate you guys having me again. So thank you.
So tell us about this new show, Dr. Ken.
Oh yeah, it's loosely based on my life. I used to be a doctor at an HMO here in California, and also based on my family life. I have a wife and 2 kids, and it's really beyond a dream come true. I mean, this is kind of the happiest I've ever been, in terms of this situation. I can't believe that, and so grateful that ABC has allowed me to have a series. Much less, I mean, I was happy with the pilot, so my expectations have always been very realistic. So.
Now, in the movie Knocked Up, okay, movie Knocked Up.
Now, why are we going back to that?
Because I'm getting ready to tell you why. Stay with me.
Okay.
You were quite mean as a doctor in that movie. Now, I mean, you were hilarious there. Do you have any of those moments in the show?
Oh yeah, they're
Really?
definitely inspired by Dr. Cooney and Knocked Up. They're definitely. Okay. I think that's a prototype. I think a little bit of Skip, maybe like a little bit. I think that's kind of a workshop. Yes, it's a compliment.
Thank you.
Just kind of
Just
workshopping.
channel your inner Skip.
Channeling your inner Skip. So I think this is very. I'm really here to shadow you as opposed to really be a guest.
You've got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me. Skip Bayless on ABC?
Could be maybe the spinoff is Dr. Skip. Who knows? So.
Allow me to congratulate you on your birthday for an amazing career arc, going from doctor to stand-up comic along the way, to all of a sudden all those movies, and you have your own series on ABC.
Well deserved.
For which you write, because you are a doctor.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Not a talented family or anything. Gee, do it all.
Right.
Okay, let's talk some sports, because you're good at this. You are a huge NBA fan, and I think you've swung now your allegiance here in L.A. to Clippers more than Lakers, right?
I do love the Clippers. I do love me some Clippers.
I think you heard our takes to start this show on DeAndre Jordan. Your take, please.
With all due respect, I disagree with your assessment of the situation. I do think that
I'm going to get mean on you.
That's fine, and
I got your back.
I'll take it on camera, and then
cool.
cool. So no tears today. It's my birthday. And
you can cry if you want.
I will cry. I will cry if need be. But I think DeAndre made the right decision, ultimately to go to the Clippers. And I'll tell you why. I think, the Mavs had the better pitch. Clippers had the better roster. It doesn't matter what the pitch is.
That's
you
fair.
Look at the roster. And you're also talking about a 26-year-old man making decisions that someone in my 40s, I'm 23, but someone in my 40s.
We all are.
Yeah. So I'm in my 40s and making those, I can't make decisions that well. So to me, it was obvious it was a bit of an emotional journey that he had with the Mavs and a bit of emotional decision. My managers always told me never make decisions in business based on emotion. That's kind of what happened. But you had the moratorium, completely legal, and he changed his mind and he went to the Clippers. Yes, he's gonna take a hit in popularity. He's gonna take a hit with some street cred. But at the end of the day, as ugly as this journey was, he made the right basketball decision.
I don't think there's any question that he made the right basketball decision, but I'm wondering, you're 26 years old. It's not like you're a boy. You can pick up the phone and call the owner and tell him after you agreed to take his money that you changed his mind, right?
What if his people said, or maybe his agent said, don't call anybody? That's common in business. What if he wanted to call Mark Cuban and he's like, don't call anyone until this is all blows away?
Well, here's the problem. The agent in question is a guy by the name of Dan Fagan, who's considered to be very, very tight with Mark Cuban. And when DeAndre Jordan was in his house and he had changed his mind, his agent his agent couldn't even get in the house. So clearly the agent he wasn't listening to his agent, because if he was listening to his agent, chances are he would not only call Mark Cuban, but probably would have taken the deal after agreeing to take the deal, because DeAndre changing his mind not only makes him look bad, it makes his agent look bad.
Well, they weren't on the same page, but playing devil's advocate, what if Fagan had, and I read about that, what if Fagan led into that path? And sometimes when you're talent and your agent tells you to do this, off camera, I'm pretty shy and pretty polite, and I'll be like, okay, and then they're telling you to go do this movie as opposed to this other movie. Oh, this is great. Oh, cool. And then if you're a people pleaser at heart, and I've met DeAndre several times, he is a lovely guy. I love him.
He's a very nice guy.
Very nice guy, and I think you're put in a very hard situation. Yes, it could be blame could be put both ways, but also when you're having an agent that's allegedly steering you towards the Mavs, sometimes you're in a bit of a pickle, and it gets ugly.
Barricade him out of the house.
Look, it was an ugly situation. At the end of the day, I think he made the right basketball decision. When the Clippers, when they're winning, it's going to be, people forget.
I think you have fallen into the trap of you've gotten to know him, and I do think he can come across as a very nice guy, a fun guy to be around, as you've often said. He's great with the media, but again, from a basketball perspective, he's the kind of guy I wouldn't want on my team. I wouldn't want in my NBA foxhole, so to speak.
Disagree there.
Okay, I just don't think he has the highest basketball character, but I agree with you. He's a perfect fit as a third wheel behind Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, with Doc Rivers as his coach. He's a much better fit with your Clippers, which is why they're back in contention, than he would have been as the man in Dallas. I think he would have crumbled under that kind of pressure to live up to that contract in that town.
I think in business, I think GMs and coaches make decisions like this all the time. No one knows about because, let's say, they're not in the spotlight. So if they're flipping their decisions, right on, telling a player, we're not going to trade you, and then they trade you. That happens all the time. I feel like this is a behind-the-scene thing that you just saw the underneath the rug, underneath the carpet, and it's just laid out for everyone to see. And the Clippers didn't do themselves any favor by emojiing and documenting all that.
Emojiing.
So, but I
Doc, I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Yes, sir.
It's all nice, good and dandy. You're sitting here, love having you on the show. You're a Clippers fan. You waffle back and forth. You're fair weather. I get all of it.
The weather is fair in LA.
Hey, it's better than fair. But let me throw this at you. Those few days when it was announced that he was going to Dallas and he was leaving the Los Angeles Clippers, how are you feeling about the Clippers at that particular moment as you pondered life without DeAndre Jordan? And it was just CP3, Blake Griffin, and Doc Rivers having lost out on DeAndre Jordan with no cap space to literally go out there and correct losing such an impactful player. Where was your mentality then, sir? I would like to know.
Well, my biggest regret, yes, I did. Did I buy Mavs season tickets too fast? Yes, I did. Do I regret that? Yes, I do. But having said that, neither team had a plan B, in my opinion. If they didn't get DeAndre, they didn't know where they're going to go. The Clippers, they didn't know where they were going to go. So it's one of those things. It's a shame someone had to lose out on that because neither team, in my opinion, had a plan B. So yes, the Clippers would have been, dealt a major blow. And I was thinking, I was in the writer's room and Dr. Kim, when one of the writers told me, they saying like, DeAndre went to the Mavs. I'm like, what?
You wrote him out of the show right then? You were like, he's out. No cameo
for him. No cameo for him. Maybe I'll call Cuban and maybe to have him invite me to a cameo.
There you go.
But no, I think that, look, it's ugly right now, but winning will cure all ills, and it will, and the Clippers are now back in contention, and at least to the Western Conference Finals.
I'm going to put you on a good spot here. Your most famous or maybe infamous character that you've ever played was the Hangover character, Leslie Chow.
Yes.
So do us a favor. You're great as Leslie Chow. Assume character here. Go into character.
Okay.
And try to coach LeBron and company, if you would. How would you coach them as Leslie Chow?
Okay, like in the finals, like the NBA finals.
Yeah.
Like, LeBron, you're doing too many ISOs. Too many ISOs, stupid. Trust Black. Even though he's funny, it's funny because he's black. So now we will have to rebuild, but be smart. Be smart.
Like it.
Don't hire Tristan for $90 million. No, you could get him for much cheaper.
Much cheaper.
And he's fat. I didn't say that. That was Chow. That was Chow.
Yeah, it was Chow because you're telling them to trust Black. Trust Black. Okay.
That's what Chow's saying. Ken Jeong is not necessarily saying that.
Here we go.
But I'm also saying not to trust Chow. I'm fair weather, as you know. This is L.A.
That's right.
We just want to be loved.
How y'all feeling about? How you feeling about? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's all right. I got one last area here.
Yes, sir.
You're a Duke undergrad. You went to UNC, obviously, med school. But the shock of the night, the first shock anyway, on draft night, was Jahlil Okafor of your Duke University did not go to the Lakers.
Should have went. He should have went to the
agree.
Lakers. I mean, I think he's the new big fundamental. I mean, I think Towns is amazing. He's a genius, and he deserves to go first. But you don't pass up on Okafor. He did well. But 76ers played the Lakers in the summer league over the weekend. Jahlil did very well. I mean, Russell is great, and I think he is so talented.
Is it a Duke thing? Is it?
I think there is a stat where like Duke teams that have won championships, their top players have been number 3 in the draft. And it's almost like, there's almost like a stigma sometimes when, and this happened to Dean Smith in Carolina back in the day, when the top players of their programs, they would get drafted, they would assume that they're drafted high, or they're assuming that they're superstars because of the system. But I don't think that. I mean, Okafor, he was just a freshman. He is a superstar, and the Lakers should have taken him.
I so agree, and I think you agree.
Of course I do. Listen, here's why no one had a problem with D'Angelo Russell being taken number 2 overall. You assumed that the Lakers had a deal in place for a big man if they were going to take the point guard number 2. Because it was LaMarcus Aldridge, it was Marc Gasol, it was DeAndre Jordan, even though I knew he wasn't going to leave the Clippers to stay in town and play for the Lakers. I mean, you saw all of these different, Tyson Chandler to a lesser degree, who ended up going to Phoenix, and Phoenix did well in free agency as well. You just look at it from that perspective, and you were just of the mindset, they must have a big deal, a deal in place for a big man. And when that didn't reach fruition in free agency, now you're looking at D'Angelo Russell, even though they rave about him, point guard, they say 3 steps ahead of everybody. He sees the floor exceptionally well. He's going to be special. But you do find yourself looking at them and said, you passed up on a dude that's going to give you 20 and 10 a night.
By the way, he might be 3 mental steps, but not 3 physical steps ahead of everybody. Right. I don't think he's an explosive athlete.
Well, they talk about him as a point guard. They say they say he passes it to where you should be, not to you. They say he knows what he's doing, and he's just a quintessential floor general. They say he's going to be special. We'll see, but you don't teach the size and offensive ability that Jahlil Okafor has, and they passed up on him. I don't understand that.
7 turnovers over the weekend, Russell had.
He did. Good stat. This guy knows his sports.
He's research. He's research too. Thank you so much for joining us. Dr. Ken on ABC. Yes or no? Clippers get out of the second round?
Oh, yeah. Clippers get out of the second round.
That's emotion talking.
All right. They do. Happy birthday. Hope you have a great rest of the day. All right. Moving on. We move from the association to the NFL. More serious subject here. Greg Hardy got his suspension reduced from 10 to 4 games, but the fight may not be over. The guys will react to that after the break. Keep it locked.